Today we're going to be discussing the role of the rib cage in how it relates to rounded shoulders. We're going to be talking about the internal anatomy of the lungs and how everything from the inside out can actually be a major player in why somebody may be rounding their shoulders. So before we get into the actual mechanism of the rounded shoulder, let's talk a little bit about the rib cage and its relationship with the scapula. The rib cage actually has more of this convex structure. And so the reason why that's important is because inside the scapula, it's a little bit more concave. And so we need the scapula to fit on top of the rib cage, kind of like a puzzle piece. If there's any type of flatness, then that congruency in that relationship is not going to be there. And so the scapula is going to move on the rib cage and find a position where it can actually maintain that round, where it can actually lock in and find a rounder part of the rib cage. And so inside the rib cage, we have these massive lungs. And so when we breathe in, the the front part of the rib cage opens, so does the back, as well as the side will open. So we get this 360 degrees of expansion. So the chest expands, the rib cage expands, the posterior rib cage expands, and the lateral rib cage expands. And that allows for the scapula to maintain on the rib cage as we move into different degrees of shoulder flexion.